And then the third thing, now let's maybe go into formulas. Now, formulas are essentially how you tell Excel to count or analyze things. So I've got flowers in the season of winter in every color. How would I go about counting those colors in a way that still spreads out across my spreadsheet? To do that, I could use what is called the if and function, or if and formula, sorry. How many purple flowers are there in winter? And so what I would do is I would start my formula. The way you do that is just by typing in the equal sign to your cell. And I'm just going to start typing if, and then open parentheses, and then another open parentheses. Now these little snippets will help you a lot. So Excel is really good in that, like just prompting you in what you need to fill in. So in this case, I'm just going to type it out first. And basically what this is saying is if A2, so cell A2 is winter, and don't forget the quotation marks because it's a string or a word, and if B2 is purple, if those two scenarios are true, then give me the number 1. If false, or if not both of those are correct, then give me the number 0. And so if I hit enter on that, and it's going to give me the number 1. And if I just go to the bottom right corner of my cell where it turns into a black plus sign like this, and if I click that twice, what it's going to do is do what's called an autofill. And so now it's going to show a 1 each time it has a winter and purple. And I might just add a header to this column. But let's say I want to count the rest of the colors. I want to count winter pink. Similar to how I dragged this down and then it automatically did what I needed it to do downwards, I can also do the same across. But if I do it like that, now what you'll find is pay attention to the cells that we're referring to. So right now it's referring to the right cells, right? It's A2 and B2. But if I move here, it's actually moving. It's moving to B2 and C2, and then it's actually moving based on distance to the cells, which we don't want. We want it to still be referring to these two cells downwards, right? What you could do actually is use the $sign. We don't want it to lock to this row only because we will want it to go downward, but we will want to lock its column, and we're going to, wrong one, this one, A2 and B2. And we're going to place the $sign in front of the column because we want it to lock it there. And so if I press enter, and if I autofill this, so I just go for the bottom right of the cell and I wait until it has a black plus sign, and I'm just dragging it across for all the colors. It's no longer moving, so each one is still referring to the right A and B cells, and all of them is saying 1 at the moment because we haven't changed the words inside the formula. So I'm just going to do that real quickly. And again, I'm making sure that I'm putting in double quotation marks. So now we have a formula to to basically detect those colors. And so all I need to do now is just select all of them and basically do the same thing that we did. Double click. Ta-da! And now it can basically detect each time it says winter and the color that you want based on each column, it will give you a value. So this value can be true or false or 1 and 0 or however many, whatever works for you. But this will be helpful when visualizing it in P5.js later on. If you want to, for example, see it more visually, which I know could help, because right now, of course, we're looking at this and we're just seeing like 1s and 0s. And I know that we'll visualize it later in P5, but maybe you want to just have a better view of it here in Microsoft Excel. What I used a lot back then was conditional formatting. So formatting in Excel basically means anything you do to the spreadsheet, like purely aesthetically, like it's altering the appearance of your spreadsheet without affecting the values stored within each cell. So conditional formatting is formatting your spreadsheet based on the values that you have in those cells. I want to really visually see each time it detects those colors, right? Each time the cells have a 1 in them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all my columns here. I'm going to select conditional formatting, highlight cells rules, and I'm going to select equal to. And so I want to only format cells that contain the number 1, and maybe I want them in yellow, and I'm going to press OK. And now we can kind of like just more visually see those instances.